Boom, we are live for the Short Convos podcast. And we both look semi cold. Why have we both got hats on? You look really cold because you're in a fleece.
No, this is just my fleecy PJs that
Oh,
just
okay.
are the next level PJs. So
Have you got
I'm
fingerless
making the
gloves on, or
most
is
of
that
this.
just the sleeve?
Well, you'll have to wait and see.
Okay. I have no idea what that means, but all right. Well, welcome to the Short Convos podcast.
Yeah, welcome.
40 something. I forgot this week.
40
Last week I
something.
was really confident, and then this week I'm not so.
Yeah.
45.
This is Asmirale.
Hello, and this is JC Warrior of Light Cashman.
Hello,
They
howdy.
are fingerless gloves.
Well, that's where I thought we'd start. As I came prepared, I was walking around the house and I was thinking, what three things could we do? Our top three. I thought we'd start with a feature this week.
Okay.
What top three could we do without it being food related? Why does
Yeah.
one always want to go to food? So I
I
was
don't
walking
know.
around and I was trying to find something that we haven't done. I'm pretty sure we haven't done it. Top three items of clothing.
Oh, okay. Great one. Good choice. We have not done
Have,
it. No.
have we actually talked about clothing, full stop, or anything like that? I can't remember.
We might have touched on it when we spoke about minimalism a little bit, but no, I don't think we've ever had a proper discussion on it. So good
Yeah,
choice. Good
let's
choice.
have a
I'm assuming you're
Convo.
wearing all three.
No, I'm not actually.
Okay.
So top three, mine come in no particular order. We can be quite broad with it, like we usually are. I would say my first top item of clothing is my suit or my suits. I have one tailor-made suit, and I've got a few other suits that are fitted but not tailor-made. And my tailor-made suit is one of my favourite items of clothing I have. The main reason is because it really introduced me to style. It's the first item, and I only got it, a number of years ago. I wasn't young, and it's the first item of clothing I bought with the intention of style. And I didn't realise how much of an effect style has. On yourself, on your environment, the people you interact with, and everything. I just wanted to get a tailored suit. It was after watching Peaky Blinders, actually. I went into the tailors in Brighton and I said, I want to look like Thomas Shelby. I want a suit like that. Got the hat, got everything done. And when one day I have a spare bit of cash, I'd like to get another one done. And I never grew up. I don't think it's a good thing or a bad thing. Again, it's just what we talk about. I never grew up thinking about style at all, and I didn't walk around in rags, and I probably did look a bit dodgy at times. But I never thought too much about what I wore. I mainly wore from a practical point of view. And I've always pretty much lived in tracksuits and suits anyway, as in training suits. Straight
You did.
away, you feel really good in it because it fits you. It's tailored to you, and then people treat you differently. Like when you walk through an airport and you look at the business, everyone's like, "Oh, who's that?" Or you just get treated differently. So that's why I would say the suit is one of mine.
That's a good one. Do you want to go one for one on this one?
Yeah, let's go one for one. Go for it.
Okay. So before I give any of mine, I've kind of gone on an almost opposite journey to you with clothing. So I worked very early on in retail and quite high-end retail, like French Connection. I had worked at Selfridges for a while, like personal shopping, like real like boutique experience in terms of getting people the clothes they want. And that involved you being very fashion conscious and fashion aware. So in my younger years, teenage years especially, I was very hip to it all. Like I knew what was going on and I was aware of it and I made choices in regards to it. As I've gotten older, I've gone the opposite way to the point now where I consider myself a minimalist in terms of my wardrobe, and it's very like samey. Like I've got the same underwear 10 times, and that's because it's just the one pair of underwear. I got the same t-shirt 10 times. I got the same socks 10 times over because they just fit and are fit for purpose. So I don't have too many key items, but I'll go in categories. What I will say, what stuck with me is leather jackets. So I have a leather jacket and I've always loved a leather jacket. Now, I don't think I'll ever buy one again just because of and become a lot more aware of animals and all the rest of it in terms of, where they come from and all of that. But the leather jackets I own, I have quite a love for. There's something about the way you feel when you wear a leather jacket that doesn't really compare to much else.
Is that a leather jacket you put on when you get on your Harley Davidson?
That's the one. I mean, you don't even need the Harley Davidson. Put the jacket on and you feel like you own a Harley Davidson, even though you don't. So yeah, yes. That leather jacket's a winner for me.
Right. Well, my next item is 2 items, because I'm allowed to have 2 items for one. Is my hats. I love my hats. I pretty much wear a hat all year round. Not all the time. I know some people never remove a hat, but there's something I just enjoy about a hat: a flat cap, a baseball cap. During the winter months, I go to my winter collection of beanies and everything else. But I really do love a hat, and I love it when it's really cold, snowy outside. I get to get my full fur ear covering, tie under the chin hat. And I'm allowed to throw it into this one as well, because I don't wear them all year round. My fingerless gloves. There is something about my fingerless gloves. It doesn't matter how cold it is outside, always fingerless gloves. I just love my fingerless gloves. These ones are probably seen a few seasons, so I think need an upgrade.
Are those fingerless gloves, or are those gloves with which you have cut off the fingers?
My very first fingerless gloves were gloves that I defingered, but these are genuine fingerless, prepared gloves.
Got it. Yeah, I've always liked a fingerless glove. I think that this always made the most sense. I used to busk with the guitar in central London quite a few years back, and fingerless gloves were kind of almost a requirement, because otherwise you just got so cold you couldn't actually play anything. So yeah, I've got a couple. They're a good choice. My number 2 is going to be a plain black t-shirt. Again, I've got 10. They're all the same brand. They're all the same size, and it's boring as hell, but this is why I like it. I don't think about what I wear in the morning. I don't give it any tension. I don't give it any mind. I go to the drawer, I get a t-shirt, I put it on, and I get on with my day. And it used to, especially back when I was in retail, it used to consume like a big part of my day in terms of trying to pick the right outfit, think about who I had coming in or what the customers were doing or what was going on. And now I just don't care. Just like plain t-shirt. Today it's a white one. I've got white and I've got black, and that's about it. I only have 2 colors. That's it. And there's a gray one somewhere, but I haven't worn it for a long time. But that's when I'm feeling in the middle. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, someone said a little while back, I can't remember where it was, that some of the most productive people in the world only have the same clothing, the same clothing, because then it takes out that need to make a choice at the start of the day.
Yeah, Steve Jobs was famous for the black turtleneck. He was like the first one, just black turtleneck, blue jeans. I don't take it to that extreme, but that is it. You just don't think about it. You don't give it any energy. And also, I don't like spending money on clothes. Like, I don't like having to buy new t-shirts or buy new jeans. Like, I get irritated when it comes to the point, and it only comes to the point when my wife says, you need new t-shirts because those are looking ragged. And then I'm like, fine, 10 done, ordered new ones. So yeah, it removes the whole thing of needing to think about it more often than not.
Yeah. Well, I should have really put the gloves and hat into numero 3 separate, because I can't really decide on a number 3 now. I've put myself on the spot. You go first. What's your number 3?
Oh, well, see, I thought I knew your number 3.
What you said?
I thought you were going to say a gi of kinds. Just because we wear them, 99.9% of the time.
Funny, I didn't think of that as clothing, though.
Okay.
I think of that more as like a Superman outfit, a uniform.
So we're talking only when we're not in superhero.
No, you've done my number 3 then. So yeah, my
okay,
gis.
You're sorted. Well, then now you must talk about your gis.
Well, I was fighting over. I like velour tracksuits. Like, I like
velour tracksuits.
Yeah, I've got a good collection of velour.
That's a choice.
Yeah,
tracksuits. That's out there. I don't know many people who have a velour tracksuit.
No, I like my velour tracksuits and
All right.
various colours, various cuts as well, slim as well as a bit more,
Loose.
in with the hood, baggy and everything else. I do like those. And then, like, I like my these PJs are particularly lovely that I'm wearing right now. They feel like you're in a teddy bear or you are a teddy bear. They're really nice. But I don't wear those all the time. I find something more practical is always what I go to
Yeah.
with anything, or is always my favourite things if it's more practical. So yeah, my geese are definitely that, and it's it's been a thing that has always been there. I think with the geese, it has always been. I can remember back to my earliest memories is putting on my first gi, which was a red top, white V, wrap around, tie up, and bottoms. And yeah, I've got a various amount of gis depending on what we do as well. So I have a traditional gi for traditional karate. I have more what we call a freestyle gi, the V-neck, in a different colours, white representing if I'm more in control of the advanced grades, reds if I'm more of an assistant during a class while someone else is leading, and then black if I'm taking just whatever I fancy on the day. And then I've got all my wolf pack or intensive point fighting or wacko type gis as well. So yeah, I do love a gi, and some of them I've kept that I don't wear as well. Bit of history. I've got a box full of gis actually. We're getting ready to move, and I got that box. I found that box the other day. I was thinking of potentially you can get like rugs made with them. You send
Okay.
like t-shirts off or whatever it is, and this firm or company, whoever, will then make a rug out of it all. I thought because then you could put it up and display it, or it's got a bit of use rather than sitting in a box. So yeah, good shout. As my third is my geese.
You're welcome. I will save footwear for another one, so we can do a top three on footwear another day.
Next
Because
week,
I know
yeah.
you like a shoe, so we'll come back to that one. My number three, I'll kind of go in line with what you say because this is something I've really been missing wearing. Is my Wolfpack coaching tracksuit. And
Oh yeah,
it's more that I miss that whole scene, tournaments, and all the rest of it because of what's going on in the world. There aren't any at the moment, but I really miss waking up on a Saturday or Sunday morning, probably in a hotel room, and zipping up that tracksuit to go downstairs and just knowing like what the day is gonna be. You just know
yeah.
it's tournament day, it's coach day, it's fight day. And I miss that. I miss that kit. I don't want to just put it on to like be on Zoom or anything like that. I want to
Doesn't
save it
deserve it,
for.
does it?
Doesn't deserve it, no. But I really miss wearing that tracksuit and doing the things associated with wearing it. I guess that's a part of the gi thing as well. It's all the memories that get tied into the
Yeah,
outfit along with it. But yeah, that's definitely my number three.
that was a really satisfying feature. That one, I really enjoyed
Good,
that.
good choices, and I'm glad we got away from food. I don't know what it is with us and food, but we seem to
Yeah. Well, have you
we
got
seem to
something
go
food
there.
this week?
As in a top three,
No,
or
no,
just a
just
food
something
related?
food. Yeah.
All right, so I've got a food related topic. I recently have discovered a really good alternative. So we won't call this a regular feature, but I want you to think about if you found or if you have an alternative to what the norm is. So I'll give you my example because I think I saw on your Instagram that you had eaten this the other day. Porridge.
Oh,
Are
I
you
love
a
porridge.
porridge man? Yeah,
I
right.
love
Okay,
porridge.
good. So this will you'll well, you might not agree with this, but you'll know where I'm coming from. I love the idea of porridge, but I struggle with eating it in any decent quantity. So it's like I can eat the tiniest portion of porridge and enjoy it, but I get to a certain point and it's like 4 spoonfuls, and I'm like, I can't eat this anymore. I'm full, but I can't be full because it's like 4 little spoonfuls, and the texture and the taste I'm just done with. So I
Okay.
recently discovered cream of rice, which is effectively baby food, but I can eat that thing by the boatload. Like I could just eat it for days, and it's effectively the same stuff, but instead of oats, it's rice, and it's a little lower in fiber. But in terms of like carbs and all the rest of it, it's basically the same food. And it's been like revolutionary for me for breakfast because I'm no longer feeling heavy and bloated after eating porridge because that's what it does to me for
That's
whatever
true.
reason. I feel light and free. And
Are you hitting it with jam or honey or anything else?
And this is the other thing, right? So my thing with porridge is I can eat it, but I've got to add a ton of sugar in the form of honey, jam thing. And then I'm like, I'm not really having a healthy breakfast anymore. So this, I can just have it as it is easily.
Because
It's got a sweetness to it. Yeah, because it's baby food and it's low sugar.
You eat it out of a plastic bowl with a sucker on the bottom and a little.
I didn't know there was another option. Is that what? There's bowls that don't have suckers on the bottom? I don't know. Anne just puts me in my chair and puts the little table in front of me. I don't make any of the choices. Yeah. No, it works out great. You've thrown me right off my trail of thought there. Yes, but add a little spoon of jam in it and it then becomes like the most delicious thing you've ever eaten in your life. So I don't know if you have an alternative to what the majority of people would eat, where you just think, well, for me personally, that's a lot better.
I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. I'm going to bring that next week.
Get back to me. But that's the food topic of conversation is alternatives.
Alternatives, yeah. Well, anyone listening, if you got any alternatives or top threes of what we're saying, stick them in the chat. Let us know. Well, you kind of went with a recommendation there, so I would like to go with a recommendation this week. I'm enjoying all of our features this week, and my recommendation is, I did it at the weekend with several songs, is to listen to songs and read the lyrics at the same time. I don't know, obviously, as someone that's been into music yourself, you've probably done that a lot. But I haven't done it recently. And have you seen the new, I don't know how new it is, it's probably not that new, on the devices on the music app, the Apple, when the music's playing, you can choose lyrics, and it basically brings the lyrics up as the song's playing. It's really cool. And then you can just click on the lyric and it goes back to that bit again. And I just wanted to know what the words were in a song. And I just got so much pleasure just listening to a couple of songs, just reading the lyrics. And quite often you're singing something and you've got the words completely wrong.
Yes.
They're completely different to what you're singing. And just that whole, I would recommend get your top 10 songs. If you've never done it before, if you've done it, do it again, and just listen to them with the lyrics in hand. And that music app, it really works well for that.
Yeah, I tell you, I recently switched over to Spotify, just because I always found that Apple Music never gave me the music that I wanted to listen to. And people told me that in terms of playlist and recommendations, Spotify does a much better job. And I agree with that in the sense that I feel like I'm discovering and enjoying my music more since switching. But the one feature I really miss is that feature. Spotify doesn't currently have that. They have this thing where they will tell you about some of the lyrics, which is nice. Like they'll give you a bit of context to a song, but they don't have that where it just effectively, like a karaoke machine, flows the lyrics.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Which I did really enjoy about Apple Music. I miss that feature, and I agree. Reading the lyrics along with listening to your favorite tunes is a great thing to do. Favorite one to do it too. I don't know if I would assume it would be Bruce Springsteen, but I don't know if lyrically someone else maybe.
Before even, I think even Apple had a music app on a device, and that Bruce Springsteen had a book come out prior, because there was lots of books written about him and everything, but he never wrote a book. But he brought a book out again years and years ago, just titled Songs, and it was every album up to that date with just the lyrics in. And just really, it's a nice bit. I've got it over here somewhere. It's a nice big hardback book, got beautiful pictures in, personal pictures. And before each album, he just writes a small bit about the album, about where he was and that. So that was I remember getting that and sitting down, not in one sitting, but listening to each album, reading it, and that was really great. I was actually trying to learn the words to, I'll get the playlist up. I was trying to learn the words to Thrift Shop. We've got
That's not what I expected you to say.
we've got a playlist, our training playlist, and I take no claim of fame to it. It's all of Cece's doing. She put together, and thrift shop, another Macklemore, Glorious. And then another, it was all Macklemore actually, Good Old Days, and then I Love You Always Forever, Donna Lewis.
Nice, good songs,
So,
good tracks.
you,
Well done, CC.
what would you like listening to then?
Well, I love listening to everything, but in terms of lyrics, the one that gets me, I go back to it all the time, and this is a bit out there, Fall Out Boy. So I don't know if you've ever listened to much Fall Out Boy, but they're kind of mostly geared towards 12-year-old girls. But for whatever reason, it really appeals to me. Yeah, it does something. But lyrically, I think that guy is one of the most, he's just a genius, because if you listen to his song and at the end of the song I tell you what was he singing about, there's not a person on earth who could go, oh, he was singing about this, I know exactly what he was on about. You don't have a clue, but certain lyrics and certain parts of it will resonate somewhere deep inside you. The closest thing I can compare it to is Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody is one of those songs where you don't really know what that song is about, but there's sections of it where you know exactly what it's about, because it hits you right in the feels. And that's what they do really, really, really well. And it's harder now, I think, because music, in my opinion, has become a lot more easily digestible. Like it's just kind of very easily packaged. And I think Fall Out Boy, especially lyrically, have resisted that really, really well. And their lyrics still kind of, for me, they're interesting. You read them and you're like, I wonder what he's getting at, or what he's trying to say, or what made him write that lyric. And it engages you in a deeper way with the music.
Okay, I'll check some of that out then. No, I'm not familiar with Fall Out Boy at all. I'm really enjoying our features. What do you feel a need for a rant? I've not come needing a rant tonight. Do you need a rant?
I am rant free, to be honest. I mean, I can always dig one up if you want one.
Go on, dig it up. I want to hit all of our features this week. But before we do, have I eaten or have I not? That is the question. Do you remember last episode? You could tell if I'd eaten or not.
This was actually off the record. So this was after we'd stopped recording.
Was it?
It was. Okay. As in, we spoke about it afterwards. So you had mentioned that you had eaten at some point in the podcast. And I was like, oh, that's what it is. He's a little different in his energy today. Because normally we get to the end of the podcast. This is like behind the scenes stuff for everyone. Normally we finish the podcast and then we're saying our goodbyes. And JC normally finishes with, I'm going to go eat now. I'm starving. And off he goes. But obviously last week this was different. So he set me the challenge this week of figuring out whether or not he had eaten before or after. And I am going to say you have eaten before. And he has frozen.
You are correct, 100%.
I'm correct. Damn, yes. Awesome.
And he is frozen. Yes, I heard it.
Okay, good. We're good then. We're good.
Yes. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I'd eaten beforehand, yeah.
It's something that it settles you, I guess. You now look ready to wind down for the evening.
The evening and ready to go. Yeah. Good.
Good to know.
Your powers are strong, young Jedi.
No, thank you. Right, a rant. Hello. All right, I've got one. I will try not to make this about COVID, because this was a problem before and it will be a problem long after. But COVID has certainly exacerbated this. And this is deliveries. And the world of deliveries now, which is basically get the box, throw it at the door, maybe ring the doorbell and walk off. And it's just like, there is no care whatsoever as to whether or not you actually get this package. They just wipe their hands with it now. And now it's all about, social distancing. We want to keep our drivers safe. They're not going to stay at the door. I get it. I understand it. However, take my house, for example. It's not the nicest neighborhood in the world. My neighbors aren't the most trustworthy people in the world. And if you leave a shiny Amazon box outside my door, there's a real good chance that my lovely neighbor is going to just go and pinch it for himself. So I just appreciate it if there was just a bit more care to this. And again, there is no fix for it because this is Amazon and they're never going to change anything about it. but like it definitely is getting worse. I don't know if you've had any experience with this, but sometimes I come home and I'm just like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, well, completely. To start with, the Royal Mail are now delivering more parcels than mail, aren't they? It's
Yeah.
now overtaken the post and Amazon. Well, you're saying Amazon. I spoke to someone yesterday whose daughter, she's a driving instructor, hasn't worked for been on furlough for however long now. So she actually went on, picked up a job with Amazon as a delivery driver, and she had to go on like some 3-day course on it. Like have a driving test, had to do a written test, had to do a delivery test, had to sit in with someone before she could go off on her own. But clearly, it doesn't last very long then.
No, I guess not, right? Once they're flying solo, they're flying solo.
Yeah. We've
I get it.
we've never lost anything though. Like I've never received anything damaged, and I've never lost anything. I.e., no one's never nicked it. We've never not had it. Have you had same with eBay? We've never not received anything.
No, credit due to Amazon. I've never had an issue, and so the only issue I had was exactly that, where it was delivered to it said it was delivered to my neighbor. So the package was stated as being delivered to my neighbor. I asked all my neighbors, none of them said they'd received this package. This package was worth about 350 quid. So it wasn't exactly a cheap Amazon order. One item, 350 quid. Within 5 minutes of being on the phone to customer service, I had a new one come out the next day. And there was just no questions asked, no like investigation, nothing. They just went, no problem, sir, and put through the order again. So it was like, I can't complain too much, but I just find it surprising that they seem to be so carefree with it, because it must, like stuff like that must cost them, but obviously it doesn't cost them as much as all the successful deliveries that seem to get there.
Yeah, amount of money there. But no, a valid rant, I think, a valid rant.
Thank you.
On the back of the recommendation I gave last week, the Infinity Monkey Cage, the podcast, it was a really good one that I listened to, and it was all about reality. And I haven't finished it yet. And they had, a couple of scientists on, a couple of, I can't remember even what the expert's field was, and then a comedian on, which was really funny. And they were just talking about reality. So as we really haven't gone down a rabbit hole, I thought we could, for the latter part of the podcast, and they were talking about science of reality, and then faith and stories basically as reality. I just found it fascinating. It was just a fascinating conversation.
So by this, do you mean our perception of the world and what is real and what is not, and what we can perceive and what could be there but be beyond our comprehension?
And, even a scientist was turning around and saying he's not a believer in a faith, but they put stories together to explain science. So even when they're talking about quantum physics and everything else, the only way they can sort of describe it is by giving it stories, and sort of he's making a connection to why people are drawn to a faith, how he respects people with a faith who believe in God creating it all, because then themselves are scientists. So I have to listen to the rest of it to explain it a bit better, but I found it just a really, really interesting subject.
Oh, it definitely is. It's because it's so beyond our comprehension to a point, isn't it? So it's open to so much interpretation, and you can't turn around and go, well, that's wrong, because we just don't know, because it's just beyond it. Like the whole dark matter thing always gets me. The idea that there's this mass out there that we have absolutely no comprehension or understanding of, other than just knowing that it exists.
And it's not just a mass, it's the largest by far percentage of everything out there. So if you take our solar system, our star and planets and everything, and throw it in a box with black matter, then we take up, it's something like 1% of the box, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Something crazy like that. 99% of the space between us all, as in space, is just what? no one knows. It's crazy.
And that's what we know is there. So we know that stuff is there. But again, it's like what is behind the curtain that beyond our technology, beyond our science, that we can't even grasp. We can't even fathom its existence.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Crazy
where there's
stuff.
like a real gap in knowledge. But I find that really interesting about scientists being religious. I think that's a
Yes.
real, what's the word? Conundrum? There's a word
Yeah.
for it where they cross over. But yeah, I've always found that really strange because for me, the two are not mutually exclusive. Like I don't see the crossover
How
other
can
than,
you be thinking that way and also believing that way? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, unless yeah, there's a gap there that I don't really understand. But each to their own, I assume. I don't know what else you can say on it other than that.
That's what I think this guy was saying on the podcast on this Infinity Monkey Cage is it makes sense to a scientist to have a story because it's the way of explaining things. And scientists are basically the new or the more modern day religion because they're basically just giving answers, which is the same, I suppose, as any religion, isn't it? It's just the majority of religions aren't necessarily factual based. It's story based, isn't it?
And this is where it gets me, right? Because let's take science as a religion almost, because it's telling the story of how the universe has come to be. The difference with science and every other religion is science progressively changes its story. So as science is shown further information, the story gets adjusted. So if you went and looked at a biology textbook from the 50s, there would be new things in it now that weren't in it then. Whereas if you looked at a Bible from then to now, the Bible would be exactly the same, regardless of anything that's changed or happened in the meantime. And that's where I think over time, we're talking like continue to go down the line, religion is going to fall into, because it's already is, isn't it? The religion is shrinking in terms of how many people are. And I think that's going to be its death, is that it doesn't have any form of progression.
It's not up to date, is it?
It's not up to date, and it's not accepting. Once we discovered the dinosaurs were around before us, everyone just wonders, well, why hasn't the Bible mentioned them? Why don't they come up in the Quran? Why doesn't it come up in any of the textbooks? Well, because they didn't know when they wrote these books. But then it never got adapted. And that's where you can start poking so many holes in it, and then it becomes very difficult, for me anyway, to have any faith or belief in it. Because I have no problem with having a faith, but it's like when you then oppose questions to that faith, the answer cannot just be have faith. Not when you can turn to science and they can provide you with an answer and evidence for said answer. That provides me with a lot more comfort than just saying God has mysterious ways and we'll just leave it there.
Yeah. I thought I'd bring one thing topical, actually. Just remembered I was going to mention it. What's your opinion of the Royals?
Yeah, I was going to say we need that to be a feature, is one topical thing each week.
Okay.
I know we're not into the news much between us, but between us, whatever floats to the top of our awareness like that, which definitely has.
Have you watched did you sit and watch the opera show?
My wife sat and watched it. I went to the other room and did not watch it. But I've got the gist of it, right? Like,
yeah. You can't not. That's the thing. It's everywhere, isn't it? You can't.
It's everywhere. For me, okay, I don't like the royals. I'm not a fan of the royal family. I'm not a follower of it all. But I'm also, everyone seems to be acting really surprised that this very rich, very old white family is a little bit racist, And I just think, are you really in any way shocked or surprised by this? Is this news to you? Because for me, it's not news. It's like, duh. What did you expect was going? Like, they didn't like Princess Diana, and she was like as wholesome and lovely as it got. So what chance did this Meghan think she had to be like just accepted with open arms, welcome, come into our family? It wasn't going to happen. So part of me is just like, yeah, this is just tabloid rubbish. And then the big part of me is just like, who does this affect in the grand scheme of things, other than what it has done, which is nice, which is bring some awareness. You know, it's once
Yes.
again the topic of racism, sexism, and all of this is being brought to the forefront again. And I like that. And it's being brought into the worldwide media. And I think that's a great thing. But the
Yeah.
fact that it's come from this institution and we're in any way surprised that that's the way this institution operates is like, I just don't get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
What I found really crazy, which I heard today, was that their wedding, so Harry and Meghan's wedding, was viewed by 2 billion people. That's like uncomprehendable.
I can't get my head around that at all.
Yeah, like when you think of some of the biggest sporting content, like you could put them all together, and their viewship or whatever you call it does not reach close to that. It's like, what is so fascinating? What was drawn so much to that?
I don't know, because it is fascinating, because when you watch something, you watch it to evoke a certain emotion. You watch a sporting event because it's exciting, because you want to know what the result's going to be, and you're on the edge of your seat till you know who the winner is. You know, you watch a comedy because you want to laugh. You watch a drama because you want to be whatever. You want to feel stuff. What are you trying to feel by watching this very privileged white guy marry this very pretty, not white girl, and it just be a wedding? Like, what is the appeal? What is the emotion that you sit there and go, that's what I'm feeling watching this? Because I tell you right now, I wouldn't feel a damn thing. Other than maybe a little bit of annoyance, because I'd be thinking how many tax dollars or tax pounds it costs to put this little shindig of yours on. You know, like, it's not, they ain't gone out and made that money.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the poor sod that had to count how many views it had.
1,000,001, 1,000,002.
I was Poppy asked me the other day. Oh no, it might have been Daisy. I can't remember which kid. They said, "How long would it take to count to 1,000,000?" And I started trying to work it out, and it's actually quite tricky to work out, because you can count to 10 in, say, 10 seconds. You can count to 100. What I said is, well, if you time self-count into 100 and then times that by however many hundreds in a million, I said that's how long it would take. 999,999.99. Like, each number gets longer. So, yeah, there you go. Just another bit of trivia for you.
Well, there might be the answer to this. There's a YouTuber called Mr. Beast, and you probably have not heard of Mr. Beast.
I have not.
I check with Cece. She's probably heard of Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast has made a very, very good career out of doing ridiculous things. And I am quite sure one of the things he did was count to 1,000,000 on camera.
Okay.
So just sat there and just counted it out.
Because it's actually hard to do as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's, you know, it's just exhausting, I think, more than anything else, right? To just sit there. And I think at one point he might even forget where he was at. I haven't watched it to know, but I think this has happened, and I think he struggled. And I think I remember watching a video of the last bit where he's like 900,999,999,999, 1,000,000, and he was exhausted. So I think the answer might already be out there.
Okay, I'm gonna have to research that.
Well,
my quote to wrap things up this week is a lyrical quote.
Okay.
And do you reckon you can guess it? I'm going to get down to it. I heard you die twice. Once when they bury you in the grave, and the second time is the last time that somebody mentions your name. So when I leave here on this earth, did I take more than I gave? Do I look out for the people, or do I do it all for fame? I think that's just a wicked line in one of the songs that I was listening to on the Apple app.
I know that lyric. I can hear that lyric, but I do not know what song or what artist that is from.
Yeah.
Ah, so annoying.
Yeah.
Yes, great lyric. Powerful one. Mine is a little more chill. This is from a Dr. Seuss book, but equally
Dr. Seuss.
powerful.
Yeah.
Seuss. Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory.
Oh, cool.
Ain't that just the sweetest?
Yes. Yes. Oh, always
There
a
we go.
pleasure to chat, As.
It was a featured full episode today.
Yeah.
Apologies if there's some breakup in the audio, guys. I will try and edit it out as best as possible, but we will get the Wi-Fi issues sorted, and it will be a non-issue.
We will. I need to put a reminder to fix that.
I will remind you to put a reminder to remind you to fix that.
It's nearly a year that we've been doing this, As, and we've only ever been able to do this as a Zoom Wi-Fi thing. We're going to have to do it in a studio.
Well, yeah. Well, so we are on episode 40 something. So, and we only missed 2 weeks for Christmas. So I think we are pretty close to the 1 year episode
anniversary. Yeah.
And hopefully we might be able to do that episode face to face.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it just? Let's see if we can work that out.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, look forward to it, dude.
Peace out.
Nice one, guys. We'll see you on the next one.